One happy Tuesday to you. I'm Diane Rayner, your host, and this is the After Shift Report. And today, I'm excited to talk to you about a word called verve. Now, we don't typically say that in today's society. What is it? Well, you've probably heard the term vim and vigor, and that's essentially verve. It's the spirit behind how you show up at something, your enthusiasm. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I hope that you will, by the end of all this, will incorporate it into a sentence that you use sometime today. We should take these words and revive them and throw people a little curve when we say them. Okay, so I told you what verve is. So let me give you an example of it because it still may not be clear. Have you ever seen a musician, like say a jazz player, playing his saxophone? And man, you can tell, you can feel it when he's into it, right? I mean, you just kind of get caught up in it as well, and you just feel the music. Well, that's his verve, his enthusiasm, his spirit, his excitement behind what he's doing and how he shows up. And now, just to take it a little deeper, I wanted to give you some synonyms that kind of go along with that. And I just loved them when I read them. I was like, oh, I mean, I wasn't even looking it up. It just kind of showed up in my feed, and I was like, oh, well, I need to include this because it's good. So it could be fire, force, or forcefulness. Um, Let me think. What was another one? Your get up and go. Okay. And I'll give you a good example of that. My husband, I brought this up to him. It was like last summer we were talking, and we've been married 38 years and known each other 40 years. And we were just kind of recounting how we met and, early days. And I said, when you first met me, do you remember what it was you said that attracted me to you? And he's like, oh, yeah. He said, oh my gosh, your head was on straight. You had all this energy. You were going places. And he was just like, la, 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 la. And I'm like, oh, back up, back up. Where was I going? He's like, well, I don't know. You just had this, you weren't going physically anywhere. You just had this energy behind you, and it was so easy to get caught up in that energy, and so that was my verve without me even realizing that I was showing up like that. He had seen that within me. Okay. Oh, I've got a dog here with me, Katie. It's okay. Oh, she has a toy that she's trying to get. Hopefully she will be quiet. We've had a lot of rain, and she has a lot of arthritis and didn't want to go out and play this morning. So we'll just kind of make do with Katie May today. So let's just kind of think about in our life when our verve could get stolen from us. We all have defining moments where there's some crisis. Maybe someone has passed away. Maybe there's been a divorce. Maybe there's been a health crisis. Anything like that, a job loss. They are all really defining moments in our life, aren't they? And they can sneak in and rob us of who we are at that time as we're going through that. We during the crisis, you just feel like you're barely existing. You're just merely going through the motions without any emotion, just a very flat affect, perhaps, and you almost feel, I hate to say this, but a little dead. And really, there has been a death when we go through a crisis. There's a death of our confidence, a death of who we are, a death of our our vibrancy, our confidence, our trust, maybe even our ability to feel love. We've had a death of all of these things. Our hope has kind of diminished during this crisis. So over time, you slowly with time, you reemerge. And I know everybody has had some sort of a crisis in their life, and I hope this resonates. That yeah, I remember when this happened, I felt that way as well. So it's through your healing that you get to choose how you want to show up. Um, you may be guarded, cautious, very calculated in how you proceed with different things in your life. Um, just taking safe options and just kind of slowly move forward. Okay. Or when you reemerge, you may reemerge a new person. In fact, I say that we probably all do, whether we're conscious of it or not, emerge as a new person. And what I mean by that is you show up as a stronger person, a wiser person, a person willing to show up for their own life. And so that's that's how we get to reintroduce verve into our life. If we're reemerging back into our life, then we have to come back to our authentic self. So even though we're maybe wiser and more bolder or stronger, we still take our core element, who we are at our core, our verve, and we just build upon that. Okay. So I challenge you to think about, you have to first probably show up in your mind of how you want to show up. And then you have to connect that mind piece back to your spirit. And remember, this is your authentic self. So it's not like it's a hard thing. Your spirit recognizes this person as them. So when you are there in your mind and you reconnect it with your spirit, your soul, then your authentic self comes back out. And hopefully with verve, with enthusiasm, with excitement, with energy, a spirit of just who you are at your core. Katie, shh, Katie, shh. Now, what you, getting over my foot here, Katie, shh. So let's say you're like, yeah, but I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am. You can be, 50 years old and wonder how you've gotten through your whole life and not really known who you are. But Katie, listen to mama. Shh. Um, so let's talk a little bit about that, because I get that. Just like when my husband and I were, last summer talking about it, and he was like, yeah, describing, and I'm like, I hadn't really put it that that's who I am. And when I think about it, I do see those elements in myself and how I show up and in different ways. And so what I would suggest is just start with making a list of what qualities you think you have. What do you possess? And then I would encourage you to talk to some really good friends, to your family, and ask them what they see in you, and write those things down. And then as you're talking to old friends who maybe knew you in childhood, or your family who knew you in childhood, your siblings, your childhood friends or parents, grandparents, um, ask them to describe you as a child. Because sometimes situations cause us to have our childhood energy kind of squelched, our spirit maybe squelched, and we have let them, that part of us kind of settle low for the moment. I don't want to say die, because there's a resurrection in there. So, and then look at that list and then see if that's true. Can you find actual examples of when you show up like that? And if it's true for you, then sit with that. See it in your mind's eye and believe it, and then embrace it, and then show up with verve. It's really, it can be that simple. Making it kind of black and white, but it can be that simple if we get out of our own way and just embrace who you are at your core. This is not a time to be shy about compliments. This is you, and people recognize that in you, and those are your gifts. And so let them shine. Let them shine for others, and you'll see that others see it in you already. So it all goes together. So I hope that encourages you to if you're going through a crisis, to be able to come back to who you are in your heart and your soul. If you have not yet identified who you are, then take some time with that. If you need help, please reach out. I'm happy to help guide you through that process as well. And I just want us all to use that word verve in a sentence today. And people will be just so impressed with you when you use that. And they may even ask, what is that? And you can tell them. So have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.